It took me over 50 years to realize what I'll tell you in 20 minutes. Most people spend their whole lives chasing happiness, success, and meaning, only to realize too late what truly matters. I was one of them. I worked hard, worried too much, and kept waiting for the perfect moment. But after decades of living, I finally understand what's worth fighting for, what's a waste of time, and what I wish I had known sooner. If you're tired of second-guessing life's big questions, keep watching. In the next 20 minutes, I'll share the hard-earned lessons that took me over 50 years to learn, so you don't have to make the same mistakes. 1. Happiness is not a future destination. For most of my life, I believed happiness was always just around the corner. I told myself, I'll be happy when I retire, when I lose weight, when I have more money. But every time I reached a goal, another one took its place. The finish line kept moving. It took me over 50 years to see the truth. Happiness was never something waiting for me in the future. It was always here, hidden in the small, ordinary moments I overlooked. Morning sunlight streaming through the window, a grandchild's laughter, a quiet cup of coffee. We grow up thinking life is about chasing the next big thing. Society tells us success equals happiness. But that's a lie. I've met people with everything, money, status, power, who are miserable. And I've met people with very little who radiate joy. The difference? They stopped searching and started noticing what they already had. If you're always chasing happiness, you'll never catch it. But if you pause right now and truly pay attention, you'll see it's been waiting for you all along. Think about it. How many moments have you rushed through, believing something better was coming? How often have you said, I'll relax when I'll enjoy life after? What if the best moments aren't ahead of you? What if they're happening right now? So, let me ask you, what's one small moment of happiness you've experienced recently? Share it in the comments. Let's remind each other that joy isn't found in the next achievement. It's in the life we're already living. 2. Health is the greatest wealth. When we're young, we treat our bodies like they're invincible. We stay up late, eat whatever we want, ignore the aches and pains, thinking there's always time to fix things later. But later comes faster than we expect. And by the time we realize how much our health matters, we're already paying the price. I used to think being healthy was about looking good, losing weight, fitting into old clothes, keeping up appearances. But I was wrong. Health is so much more than that. It's about waking up with energy instead of exhaustion. It's about having the strength to take a walk, play with your grandkids, or get through the day without constant pain. It's about freedom. The freedom to live without being trapped by medications, doctor's visits, and limitations. I've met people in their 70s who are full of life, moving with ease, enjoying every moment. I've also met people in their 50s who have already given up, convinced that their best years are behind them. The difference? Choice. The small decisions we make every day, what we eat, how we move, how we rest, shape our future. The good news? It's never too late to start. Your body is incredibly forgiving. A short daily walk can rebuild strength. Stretching can ease stiffness. Eating real, nourishing food can bring back energy. Even small changes add up. So, ask yourself, what's one small thing you can do today to care for your body? Share it in the comments. Let's inspire each other to invest in the only home we'll ever truly live in: ourselves. 3. Relationships matter more than success. If I could go back in time, I wouldn't ask for more money, more achievements, or more possessions. I'd ask for more time, more conversations, more shared laughter, more moments with the people I love. Because, in the end, success doesn't fill the empty spaces in your heart. People do. For years, I chased accomplishments, thinking they would bring fulfillment. I worked long hours, focused on goals, and believed that financial security was the key to a good life. But as time passed, I started to see the truth. Titles fade, money comes and goes, but the people we hold close to are what truly matter. I've sat beside friends in their final days, listening to their regrets. Not once did I hear someone say, "I wish I had spent more time at work." Instead, they wished they had called an old friend, forgiven a family member, or told someone they loved them. Regret isn't about what we did. It's about the love we didn't give, the moments we let slip away. We think we have time. We tell ourselves, "I'll reach out later. I'll make amends someday." But someday never comes if we don't make it happen. So, if there's someone you miss, call them. If you're holding on to resentment, let it go. If there's love in your heart, say it out loud. Because at the end of the day, the greatest wealth isn't in your bank account. It's in the voices that still call your name, in the hands you get to hold, in the people who make life worth living. Now, I want to hear from you. What's one relationship in your life that means the most? Share it in the comments, and let's remind each other what truly matters. 4. The illusion of fame and validation. For a long time, I thought being recognized, being seen, admired, even famous, would make me feel worthy. I believed that if I achieved enough, if people respected me enough, then I'd finally feel fulfilled. But the truth? No amount of external validation can give you the peace you're looking for. We live in a world that glorifies status, applause, and recognition. Social media has only made it worse. People chase likes, followers, and attention, believing it will fill the emptiness inside. But I have met successful people, people with fame, money, and influence, who are lonelier than ever. Jim Carrey once said, "I wish everyone could get rich and famous and do everything they ever dreamed of so they could see that it's not the answer." And he's right. Fame doesn't fix insecurity. Success doesn't erase self-doubt. If you don't feel worthy now, no achievement will ever be enough. So many people spend their lives chasing admiration from others instead of learning to admire themselves. But the only validation that matters is the one you give yourself. Do you like the person you are when no one is watching? Do you feel proud of how you live, how you love, how you show up in the world? That's what counts. If you've been chasing approval, stop and ask yourself, why? What am I really looking for? The answer isn't out there. It's inside you. Let's talk about it. Have you ever chased validation only to realize it didn't bring the happiness you expected? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's open up an honest conversation. 5. The myth of external love and approval. I used to believe that if I changed myself, if I lost weight, if I looked a certain way, if I became more desirable, then I would finally be loved. I thought love had to be earned, that if I was good enough, people would stay, and I would finally feel whole. But here's the truth. No one tells you. Love from others won't fix how you feel about yourself. Even if the world sees you as beautiful, successful, or worthy, none of it matters if you don't believe it yourself. I've met people who spent years shaping themselves to fit someone else's expectations, only to realize they still felt empty inside. They got the relationship, the validation, the approval. But self-acceptance remained a struggle. Why? Because love from others can't replace love from within. This isn't to say love isn't important. It is. But real love, the kind that lasts, isn't built on appearances, achievements, or perfection. It's built on authenticity, on showing up as you are, flaws and all, and knowing you are still enough. If you're constantly chasing someone's approval, ask yourself, what do I believe will change if they love me? Because if you don't love yourself first, no amount of external validation will ever be enough. So today, I challenge you. Stop waiting for someone else to make you feel worthy. You are already enough. Right now. Just as you are. Have you ever struggled with seeking approval or love from others? Let's talk about it in the comments. Your story might help someone else who's going through the same thing. 6. The fear of aging is worse than aging itself. I used to be afraid of aging. Not just the wrinkles or the gray hair, but the deeper fears. The fear of becoming invisible, of losing purpose, of watching time slip away faster than I could hold on to it. But after living through decades of life, I see things differently. Aging isn't about fading away. It's about deepening. It's about seeing life with clearer eyes, about shedding insecurities, about finally living on your own terms. The real tragedy isn't growing older. It's spending your years fearing it instead of embracing it. So many people fight aging like it's the enemy. They cover it up, deny it, try to outrun it. But time isn't the enemy. Our fear of it is. The belief that we lose value as we age is one of the biggest lies we've been told. I've met people in their 80s and 90s who are more alive than some in their 30s, not because they have perfect health or untouched skin, but because they refuse to stop growing, laughing, and learning. I once met a woman who took up painting at 78, a man who learned to play the piano at 85, a friend who traveled solo for the first time in her 70s. Aging doesn't take away your ability to live fully. Fear does. So tell me, what's one thing you've gained with age that you wouldn't trade for youth? Share it in the comments. Let's remind each other that growing older isn't something to fear. It's something to honor. 7. It's never too late to start something new. There was a time when I thought new beginnings belonged to the young. That after a certain age, life was about maintenance, not discovery. That dream had an expiration date. But I was wrong. I've met people who picked up a paintbrush for the first time in their 70s and discovered an artist inside them. I've seen men and women go back to school in their 60s, fall in love again in their 80s, and travel the world for the first time in their 90s. They didn't let age define their possibilities. They redefined what was possible. The biggest lie we tell ourselves is it's too late. It is too late to start over, too late to learn, and too late to chase a dream. But the truth? The moment you decide to begin is the moment you prove to yourself that it is never too late to begin with. I once spoke with a man who had always wanted to play the piano. He told me, "What's the point? By the time I get good, I'll be in my late 70s. I asked him, "And how old will you be if you don't learn?" "Time will pass anyway." The question is, how do you want to spend it? Looking back with regret, or looking forward with excitement? So, what's one thing you've always wanted to try but kept putting off? Let's talk about it in the comments. Your next chapter isn't waiting in the past. It's waiting in the choices you make today. 8. Let go of what you can't control. For years, I carried burdens that were never mine to carry. I worried about the future, replayed past mistakes, and held on to anger, thinking that if I obsessed over things enough, I could change them. But life has a way of teaching us. Control is an illusion. We believe that if we plan well enough, if we try harder, we can keep life in order. But the truth is, some things will always be beyond our reach. A loved one will leave. A plan will unravel. A door will close without warning. And no amount of stress, overthinking, or regret will change that. I spent years exhausting myself over things I couldn't fix, other people's opinions, choices, and actions. But one day, I realized something. The weight I was carrying wasn't heavy because life was unfair. It was heavy because I refused to set it down. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean you don't care. It means choosing peace over resistance. It means recognizing the difference between what you can change and what you can't. It means trusting that even in uncertainty, life has a way of working itself out. I once heard someone say that worrying is like carrying an umbrella every day, waiting for rain. How much time do we waste trying to control what isn't ours to control? So I ask you, what's one thing you've been holding on to that you know it's time to release? Share it in the comments. Let's remind each other that real peace comes not from having control, but from learning to let go. 9. The small moments were always the big moments. We spend so much of our lives chasing the big moments, the promotions, the milestones, the achievements. We tell ourselves that those are the things that will define our happiness. But looking back, I realized the big moments were never what mattered most. It wasn't the job title or the money in the bank. It wasn't the big house or the expensive vacation. The moments I cherish now are the ones I once overlooked. The warmth of my child's hand in mine. The sound of laughter filling the kitchen. The quiet comfort of a familiar voice. I've spoken with people in their final days, and do you know what they talk about? Not their biggest achievements, not their financial success. They talk about the way their partner looked at them across the dinner table, the way their child's laughter echoed through the house, the way they felt lying in the grass on a summer afternoon, staring at the sky with nothing to do but be present. We rush through these moments, thinking they are ordinary, believing that the best days are still ahead. But the truth, the best days were always the ones we were too busy to notice. So today, slow down. Pay attention. The way the light shifts in the afternoon, the sound of a loved one's voice, the small joys that are right in front of you. Because one day, these will be the memories you hold on to the most. Tell me, what's one small moment in your life that has meant more to you than you realized at the time? Share it in the comments. Let's remind each other that life's real treasures aren't found in the future. They're happening right now. 10. Life is too short to wait. The greatest regret people have isn't failing. It's waiting too long to start living. Waiting for the right moment. Waiting for everything to be perfect. Waiting for someday. But someday isn't promised. I've seen too many people reach the end of their lives only to realize they spent too much of it waiting. Waiting to be happier. Waiting to be successful. Waiting for the right time to chase their dreams. But the truth is, life doesn't wait for us. Time moves whether we're ready or not. We tell ourselves, I'll start when I have more money. I'll be happy when I retire. I'll enjoy life when things calm down. But by the time we look up, years have slipped through our fingers. The opportunities we postponed are gone. The people we love have aged. And we're left wondering why we didn't embrace life while we had the chance. I used to think there would always be more time. But I've learned that the only time we truly have is now. If you want to travel, start planning. If you want to reconnect with someone, call them. If you want to try something new, stop making excuses. The perfect moment isn't coming. This is it. So ask yourself, what's one thing you've been putting off, waiting for the right time? Let's talk about it in the comments. Maybe today is the day you finally start. In conclusion, looking back, I've learned that happiness isn't something we find in the future. It's in the small moments we live in today. Health is the greatest wealth, and taking care of our bodies gives us freedom. Relationships matter far more than success, and love, not fame or validation, brings true fulfillment. Aging isn't something to fear, but waiting too long to live is. It's never too late to start something new, and the things we can't control are never worth our peace. The small moments? They were always the big moments. And the biggest mistake we can make is waiting. Waiting for the right time, the right conditions, or the perfect moment that never comes. So now, I ask you, what's one lesson from today's video that speaks to you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Let's keep this conversation going, because life is too short to wait.